The content of this podcast is provided for general informational purposes only and is not intended as, nor should it be considered a substitute for professional medical advice. Hello, everyone. This is Karen Nickel, family nurse practitioner, and this is Itchy and Bitchy, a podcast that provides answers to your many unanswered health questions. I continue to get questions about magnesium from the enrollees in my course, The Perimenopause Answer. So I am sharing my magnesium podcast again. I had an interaction with one of the course members just today about the use of magnesium to help with constipation. The most common question I receive is, what type of magnesium should I take if I decide to take a supplement? But before we get rolling, I want to remind you about my course called The Perimenopause Answer. If you are going through this phase in life called perimenopause, I would love to have the opportunity to talk to you about the course to see if it's the right fit for you. There is a link on our website, itchyandbitchy.com, and our Facebook page, I&B Podcast, where you can schedule an appointment for a Zoom call with me. I'm going to say it again. This is a Zoom call with me. It is not a webinar. So when you make an appointment, I will be sitting at my desk waiting for you to join the one-on-one Zoom call. Now, let's talk about magnesium. So let's start with what magnesium is and what it does for us. Magnesium is an essential mineral that plays an important role in the function of the brain, heart, and skeletal muscle. Magnesium also is part of hundreds of enzymatic processes that regulate things like energy metabolism, the making of proteins, muscle and nerve function, blood pressure control, blood glucose regulation, and synthesis and activation of vitamin D. Pretty important list. Magnesium is primarily stored in bone, muscle, and soft tissue, and roughly only 30% of magnesium that you eat or drink is absorbed by the intestine. Several dietary surveys performed in the US and Europe revealed that on average, people have an intake of dietary magnesium lower than the recommended daily allowance of 320 to 420 milligrams per day. And this is most likely a result of increased consumption of processed foods. And I didn't just make that up. That's in the study. I know I beat this to death, but the increased consumption of processed foods has so many problems associated with it. The findings suggest that over 50% of the normal population may have borderline magnesium deficiencies. Over 50% of the normal population may have borderline magnesium deficiencies. Low levels of magnesium in the body might result in unwanted nervous system, muscular, or cardiac disorders that can lead to symptoms such as muscle weakness, muscle cramping, and cardiac arrhythmias. Therefore, maintaining adequate body magnesium levels is so important for optimal physical performance, cardiac health, and if you're an exerciser, post-exercise recovery. Supplementation is already demonstrated to be beneficial in the treatment of preeclampsia, that's when pregnant women have high blood pressure, migraine, depression, coronary artery disease, and asthma. Although we don't have studies showing that magnesium supplementation provides meaningful treatment for skeletal muscle cramps, there are many people who would say that magnesium supplements have provided relief of their muscle cramps. Magnesium supplements are available in a variety of forms. This is where the confusion reigns. Which one to get? This puzzles everyone. Most magnesium supplements that can be found on the market contain one of the two sources of elemental magnesium, either inorganic or organic salts of magnesium. So the basic two options, inorganic salts or organic salts of magnesium. Inorganic salts like magnesium oxide provide a high loading of elemental magnesium, but it has very limited bioavailability because they don't dissolve easily. The organic sources of magnesium, like magnesium citrate, on the other hand, do dissolve readily and are very absorbable, but they provide lower levels of elemental magnesium. So, what to get? What to get? What should I get? Well, shopping for magnesium products can be a very confusing process. There are multiple forms of magnesium, some of which may be a better choice for treating certain symptoms and health conditions than others. Let's start with magnesium oxide. It is one of the most common forms of magnesium found in dietary supplements. It's an inorganic salt of magnesium, inorganic salt. So remember, those don't absorb as easily. Some studies show that magnesium oxide may be helpful for treating headaches and constipation. A small 2021 study of 63 people found that daily dosing of 500 milligrams of magnesium oxide was as effective in reducing the frequency of migraines as prescription valproate, which is an anti-seizure med that is now often used for migraine prevention. Another small 2021 study of 90 people showed that taking 1,500 milligrams of magnesium oxide is as effective as using 1 gram of the laxative senna in treating constipation. However, keep in mind that the low absorption rate of magnesium oxide can cause GI side effects like diarrhea, so we don't want to go overboard on that. Magnesium oxide is less absorbable compared to other forms of magnesium, such as magnesium citrate and magnesium glycinate, which I'll talk about in a minute. In fact, a 2019 study that tested 15 different magnesium supplements found that the supplement that consisted of only magnesium oxide had the lowest bioavailability. So, while it can help constipation, it is not a good choice to raise magnesium levels in your body if that needs to be done. On that note, the way we check for magnesium levels in the body is through a simple blood test. It's not the most ideal way to determine overall levels of magnesium in the body, but it is what we have. Magnesium citrate is a commonly used form in multivitamins, and it is more bioavailable to the body compared to magnesium oxide and other forms of magnesium, such as magnesium sulfate. Magnesium citrate supplements may be helpful for people with health issues like anxiety, osteoporosis, and metabolic syndrome, which is that group of conditions that includes high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and elevated blood sugar levels. Again, there was a small 2021 study that included 24 people with metabolic syndrome who were treated for 4 weeks with 400 milligrams of magnesium citrate per day. Compared to the placebo group, the sugar pill group, the magnesium citrate group had significant reductions in blood pressure and A1C levels, which is a blood marker that measures blood sugar control over the previous 3 months. So pretty impressive results in 4 weeks. The magnesium group also experienced significant increases in their vitamin D levels. It's just sort of crazy in just 4 weeks. But as I said, the only problem is it was a small study of only 24 people. Since it is well absorbed, magnesium citrate is a good choice if you need to increase magnesium levels in the body. After this break, I'll share with you the form that I most often recommend and others that are available. I will be right back. Magnesium glycinate is the form of magnesium I most often recommend. It is a highly bioavailable form of magnesium made from magnesium and the amino acid glycinate. It's effective for treating low magnesium levels. It is well tolerated and is less likely to cause gastrointestinal side effects than other forms of magnesium, such as magnesium oxide or magnesium sulfate. Research suggests that magnesium glycinate may be helpful for improving symptoms of depression, and that when using doses of magnesium glycinate ranging from 100 to 300 milligrams given multiple times per day, it may rapidly improve symptoms in people with major depression. Magnesium deficiency is common among people with depression, and research shows that magnesium supplements could be a natural way to combat depressive symptoms. Its calming properties can also help with stress and anxiety reduction. Animal studies suggest that this form of magnesium can also help improve sleep and treat some inflammatory conditions, including heart disease and diabetes. Magnesium chloride is easily absorbed orally and is used to treat heartburn, constipation, and low magnesium levels. So, this is a better choice than magnesium oxide to treat constipation because, unlike magnesium oxide, it will also raise your magnesium levels. Also, applying it topically may help relieve muscle soreness, but the topical form will not boost your magnesium levels. Magnesium lactate is most commonly used as a food additive in order to regulate acidity of food and to fortify foods and beverages with magnesium. It's less popular as an over-the-counter dietary supplement. Your digestive tract easily absorbs magnesium lactate, which may also be gentler on your digestive system than other types. This may be an excellent form for people who need to take large doses of magnesium regularly to raise their magnesium levels or who don't easily tolerate other forms. Some studies have shown that this form can also reduce stress and anxiety. Magnesium malate is easily absorbed and may have less of a laxative effect than other forms. It's occasionally recommended for chronic conditions like fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome. So, if you are a sufferer of fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue syndrome, magnesium malate may be a good option for you. Magnesium taurate contains the amino acid taurine. So you may be aware of that particular amino acid, and it may be the best form for managing high blood sugar and high blood pressure based on limited animal studies. It also effectively increases brain tissue levels of magnesium, so it may offer neuroprotective and anti-anxiety benefits. Magnesium L-threonate is a form that is easily absorbed. Animal research has shown that it may be the most effective type for increasing magnesium concentrations in brain cells. Magnesium L-threonate is often used for its potential brain benefits and may help manage certain brain disorders such as depression, Alzheimer's disease, and age-related memory loss. Because this form of magnesium may also help reduce neuroinflammation, meaning inflammation of the nervous system, it could have pain-relieving properties based on studies that are available. Magnesium sulfate is the type of magnesium that many of us know as Epsom salt. It is frequently added to bath water to treat stress and sore muscles. Personally, I use it in a mix with Dawn dishwashing liquid and vinegar to use as an animal-safe weed killer. It works really, really well. Magnesium sulfate is FDA approved for treating constipation, low magnesium levels, and for preventing seizures in pregnant women with preeclampsia. Again, that high blood pressure during pregnancy. While it can be consumed orally for these treatments, it has a very unpleasant taste, and if you use it too much or too often, it can be dangerous. So, if oral dosing is not being managed by a medical professional, it is best to limit it to using it as a nice soak in the tub or for your animal safe weed killer. Magnesium orotate is a form that may boost heart health by improving energy production in your heart and blood vessel tissue. Because of this benefit, it is a popular form among competitive athletes and for those who work out on a regular basis. In a small 2009 study of 79 people who had severe congestive heart failure, magnesium orotate supplements were found to be significantly more effective for symptom management and survival than a placebo pill or sugar pill, fake pill. It is easily absorbed and doesn't have the strong laxative effects characteristic of other forms I've talked about. It tends to be a little more expensive than other magnesium forms, but if you are a competitive athlete, a marathon runner, an avid exerciser, this may be the perfect form for you. Magnesium plays a vital role in your health. Low levels are linked to numerous adverse effects, including depression, heart disease, diabetes, and high blood pressure. You may want to consider supplements if you're not getting enough magnesium in your diet. The type of magnesium you choose depends on what symptoms you have. As I have explained, some are very good at treating constipation, while others are helpful for mood, sleep, or brain health. Some will increase your magnesium levels, while others do not help with boosting those levels. I hope this information helps you when deciding what type of magnesium supplement is best to add to your regimen. If you've decided to take a magnesium supplement, it's always best to purchase high-quality products from trusted brands and to choose supplements from manufacturers that hire third-party labs to test their products for purity and potency, which helps improve supplement safety. Whenever possible, purchase supplements from brands certified by organizations like UL, USP, and NSF International. If you want some specific guidance on trusted supplements, you can subscribe to Consumer Lab at consumerlab.com. As stated on their website, this company is the leading provider of independent test results and information to help consumers and healthcare professionals identify the best quality health and nutrition products. They test products for quality, strength, purity, and how well it dissolves. It is my go-to site to find the best products available. You'll also want to choose a magnesium supplement that you can easily tolerate. For example, if you have a hard time swallowing pills, you may want to choose a liquid or powder form of magnesium. The average recommended daily dosing of magnesium is 320 to 420 milligrams per day. Higher doses are used to replace magnesium if blood levels are low, and 400 to 800 milligrams a day is commonly recommended dosing to address symptoms that I have discussed. Since magnesium can help with sleep most often, dosing it at bedtime can be very helpful. Magnesium supplements are generally considered safe for most people. Once your body has reached adequate levels, your body will excrete any excess into your urine. Magnesium toxicity is rare, but it can occur. You may be at greater risk if you have kidney disease or if you consume very large doses of this mineral. Signs of toxicity include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, muscle weakness, lethargy, urinary retention, and or irregular breathing. The amounts in different supplement formulations may vary, so check the label to ensure you take the most appropriate dose. It's always good to let your primary care provider know if you are taking magnesium and how much you're taking. Thank you for listening to and for sharing the podcast with others. Wherever you listen to the podcast, please leave a review and rate the podcast. Your reviews and ratings really do matter. I encourage you to visit our Facebook page, IMB Podcast, where you can leave comments or questions for me. Our website is itchyandbitchy.com, where there are blogs with some of our subjects available for you to read. On the Facebook page and website, we have the information about how to schedule an appointment with me, not a webinar, so we can chat about how my perimenopause course can help you if you are going through this phase in life. As always, thanks to Forrest Wenzel, our producer and composer of our theme music, and the person who does all the behind the scenes work to make this podcast possible. Thank you very much, Forrest. As I mentioned before, Forrest has moved to Baltimore to attend the prestigious Peabody Music Conservatory, where he's begun his studies to receive a master's degree in music composition. He has some exciting projects in the works, including composing a symphony for a spring concert. I am so happy for and proud of him. As I have mentioned previously, he has kindly agreed to continue to produce the podcast from Baltimore, so the Itchy and Bitchy podcast continues. Remember, your health is in your hands.